So is this the end of GIS as we know it? I've been reading a lot over the last couple of weeks about the impact of new technology, the whole notion of Geospatial 2.0. And I think where we're moving towards in GIS is conversational driven interfaces. So we'll have GIS as a background service powered by generative AI. It'll allow us to ask anybody to ask complicated questions, like if they're thinking about putting a solar plant somewhere. We'll get an answer by asking, show us the best locations based on sunlight, available areas to build on, and access to the power grid. So we'll get some really complicated questions answered very simply through it in a very conversational way. That's the first thing I was going to talk about today. Let me cover four more areas which I think we should all be thinking about as we move forward and as technology completely changes our world. So that's number one. Okay, so number two in our list, we're going to move from data and technology focus to insight focus. That means we're going to move towards agents, which are going to magically do the work for us. Again, in the last example, we can talk to the interface to get an answer. But what's actually happening in the background? Well, magically in the background, we'll actually have an agent, an AI agent, which is connecting all the pieces of the puzzle together to answer the question. What do I mean by that? So let's think about in a wildfire example. At the minute, there are lots of moving parts in trying to analyze where a wildfire is moving to and to actually make decisions about what to do. In the future, we'll actually have a system where which is continually monitoring and actually answering questions in real time on what we should be doing. So, for example, if the system senses that, and we've zoned things out, it's moving towards zone A, it will tell us in 4 hours' time, this fire is going to move towards Highway 101 in zone A. We need to evacuate the area right now. So it's going to automatically do this stuff for us and not have to do all these different systems and work with these different systems and finger in the air stuff. It's going to be a completely automated system using real-time data. So that's number two. So number three, I'm going to call this geospatial for the masses. It sort of touches on the first two. We're going to provide access to everybody, whether it be a business who currently can't afford a GIS system or a complex geospatial system for spatial analytics, and regular citizens to ask a whole slew of different questions. And with DeepSeek that's just been released, the open source Chinese model that's been much cheaper to build and from a compute perspective doesn't require the same level of power, we've opened a new door. These are going to be lightweight models. So where we're going to move to is we're going to actually have these open source lightweight models. If you look at ChatGPT, it's a huge model. It's been trained on tons of data. These are going to be very specialized models. So what we'll be having is we'll have these different models talking to one another. One specialized AI here, one specialized AI there, and there'll be this cross conversation between them. That's where we're moving towards, and DeepSeek has really started us down that path and that journey. So that's number three. So on to number four. We are going to see the death of apps. A number of people have written about this. We're going to see this unified geospatial system. So no longer will we be installing apps on our phones and individually talking to each of these apps, very specialized things. We will be talking or interacting through talk with our phones, asking these questions. And in the background, these apps will be operating. Again, they won't be apps anymore. They'll be background services powered by AI. So that's what we're kind of moving to. No longer installing apps on our phones or on our desktops. We'll actually have those in the cloud running, talking to one another and bringing us back the information that we need. So that's number four. So we're on to number five, the last one. There's a theme that runs all through what we're talking about here, and this last one's no exception. We hear a lot of talk about digital twins. We hear people talking about building digital twins for the globe, but really digital twins will be these isolated things that talk to one another. So in a smart city example, there's a transportation system digital twin, there's a building digital twin, there's all these different digital twins. I don't believe there's going to be a single big digital twin for a city, for example. I think it'll be broken down in the same way as we've been talking about the AI models, and that we're going to get these very specialized models. That's how digital twins will operate, and we'll build those things together. We'll slot them together in terms of visualization. We'll also, the questions that we ask around carbon footprint, for example, of a smart city, will be the interaction of these different digital twins to actually provide an answer to us. So there's 5 things. I started off by talking about GIS and the end of GIS as we know it, which I believe is going to happen. All of these other things are going to occur over the next 5 years. I don't think there's any question about what I'm talking about here. And again, this is built off of articles that I've been reading over the last little while, and my own sort of take on where we're taking things to. I've got an article that goes into more depth on this topic. So and that'll only be available through the newsletter. So I encourage you to join the Geospatial 2.0 community, to sign up for the newsletter. There will be a link below this video, and understand more about what's happening. In the newsletter, we include opinion pieces, all the week's news. We spotlight innovators in the space, and we provide research and guides as well in there. So it's a pretty comprehensive newsletter. It'll keep you up to date with all the things that are changing in this exciting world of geospatial. For today, thanks for watching.